Are we live? Yes, we are. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. You guys. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Welcome to the first ever YouTube live stream. Hopefully we'll have a few more of these coming soon in the future. Welcome. We have a few plans here. I wanted this stream to be a little bit structured. Hello, hello everyone. Hello from India, I see. Oh my gosh, there's quite a lot of comments here. Oh my gosh, we're live. So I want to do some entertaining stuff together with you guys. I have Photoshop prepared, open on my computer, where I will be taking directly from your chat live suggestions of what to draw. I've done, together with David, these kinds of lives before, where we had on Instagram a whole bunch of people just sending in one sentence, not even one sentence, but like one word prompts or like one phrase prompts, and I was quickly live sketching them on paper. And this time I'm going to do it in Photoshop, and we'll see how it's going to go. I already see some suggestions here. Draw a cat. Hello from Sweden. Oh my gosh. Hello. Love from South Africa. Oh my god, what? How is this so, like, all over the globe? I don't understand. It's very, very cool. But yes, let me tune down my headphone music. I don't need to hear the music playing back so loudly. But yes, okay. I guess we can begin immediately, because I already see everybody, like, you know, commenting down in the comment section all sorts of stuff. So let me switch over real quickly. Yes. Let me see. Oh my god, we're in a different scene. Oh wow. Let me adjust the my head here a little bit in OBS. Real quick. Quick adjustments. Not to worry. I'm still, you know, getting the hang of this. All right, here we are. All right, everything seems to be working fine. Wait, hold on. Which layer am I in right now? This one. All right, this is going to be our canvas, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make sure that, yes, so this is going to be, hold on. Why is it not registering? There we go. All right, we're ready and prepared. So let me take a look at your chat here. I'm sure you guys can see the chat on the side wherever you're watching live. I have you open separately on the other screen so I can see everything that you're typing. So let me immediately begin. Let's go. So let me see what you guys are. Draw a muscled shrimp. I see like a few of those suggestions repeated over and over. So, you know, persistence, I see. Let me start with the center over here, a centerpiece. So a shrimp is more or less like a segmented sort of a fella with a kind of tail of sorts, right? With normally these kinds of like tiny feet, but since it's a muscular build of a shrimp, let me add some pectoral muscles here, abs a little bit. I don't think they have no, they don't have claws, do they? They're not like lobsters. Lobsters are like a larger version of a shrimp, essentially. You know what? I guess we will mutate this version of a shrimp with a Giga Chad face, because of course, why not? Although instead of your normal eyes, we would have, there's a word for this. I'm not a, you know, crustacean expert, but there's a term for these sorts of eyes here. think this is a pretty majestic rendition so far of a muscular shrimp looking into the distant horizon of possibilities. Very, very demure, very cool. While I'm doing these, I'm gonna quickly jot them down like so to this level, and later on I wanna make it like a higher quality rendition of this that you will see made into a video probably in the future, because it will take a long time for me to now very detailedly, in high detail, try and render each and single suggestion. So we have the muscly shrimp. Now let me see, what else can I add to it? I want to create a piece where everything is sort of connected together. Since we are somewhere in underwater, maybe this is an underwater landscape, or this can be like this shrimp could be existing in a fishbowl. What do y'all think? Let me wait for the chat because there's a little bit of a delay here. Draw a boxer monkey, I see. Okay, a boxer monkey has been repeated numerous times, and I'm gonna incorporate that, I think. It could be that a boxer monkey could be pointed. Draw a shark wearing a suit. Draw a boxer monkey. Creature concept art. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. I saw one suggestion by, let me hold on if I can. So there's Darshan, who wrote the monkey boxer, which I'm gonna try and do, and someone else. I zoomed past the chat. The chat is going pretty quickly, which I'm surprised actually. I thought it wouldn't be this fast, but I'm gonna try and keep up. I'm gonna draw the underwater monkey in a sort of like a diver's suit, if you will. How the thumb would be positioned correctly. So this is like an underwater showdown, I'm assuming. Let me shrink down. Let me see here. Yeah, let me know also if the background music is too low or too high. I think I'm looking at the OBS right now, and it seems to be going pretty good in terms of decibels. So, quickly. Here we have a monkey ready to square off with this shrimp-like abomination of sorts. This is a challenge. This is a duel set under the waters. Hello? Yes. Hold on. Here we go, draw a, and I'm also trying to keep up with the chat. I've done these in the past, and I need to make sure to keep y'all engaged in this process, because I don't want to just simply, you know, sit back and draw for a few minutes without speaking. Hold on. Let's add a little bit of a belly. Boxer trunks. Here we go. And I think since this is underwater, this monkey character is gonna have swimming fins, obviously. I forgot how, now this is crazy, but you know, sometimes this happens with artists. I forgot how monkey ears look like. I think they're supposed to be on the side. This is a bit of a dilemma, a quirky little dilemma. Because, like, caricature-wise, like cartoonish-wise, I do remember that, you know, chimpanzees have, like, these sorts of circular ears on their sides. So I think this is just what we're gonna go with for now. Later on, when I'm gonna clean up the sketch, I will clean this up and make sure that the anatomy is, you know, in line with reality. But here we have a underwater diver monkey ready to square off with this oceanic legend of a shrimp. So that's the first scene that we have here. Let me take a look at how this is going. Yes. Can you draw a man with a long head and small face? Stickman LC. Sure, I can. Most certainly. Let me take a look at other suggestions here that we have as well. Draw Wawa joining the battle. That's also a pretty good idea by Yashi, Leo Messi, and a mermaid. Interesting. I'll see how much I can fit within this piece. I'll go for an hour doing this piece. So we'll have an entire hour dedicated to this entire session, after which I'm going to do quick little tutorials for all of you. Just so you know, that's the next plan for this stream of ours. So a man with a long head but a small face could be like a referee, I'm assuming, in the middle of all of this. Let me see. Also, with the fins. Somewhere here, the referee usually wears like a striped shirt. So he or she, I guess in this case, this is going to be a he, is going to be blowing into the whistle with their teeny tiny face. Exhibiting strong breathing technique whilst their head is super elongated. Yes. By the way, thank you to whoever sent that super chat of a long-faced, headed man. Here we go. Somewhat of a decent interpretation, I would say. And it's gonna be like showing like a begin, sort of a let's center the composition here. I'll shrink him a little bit. Sure, let's put this guy also in a underwater tank, just so that he can breathe. Let's disregard the logic of this, how the whistle is piercing through the glass shell. You know, let's say some sort of a underwater Atlantean bubble that he can, like, you know, put the whistle through and blow through it. It's just like, you know, future technology. Anyways, here we have this. Okay, let's see what other suggestions we have. Draw a flamingo. Shout me out, or you'll stop here. No, I will not. Let me strange symbol of rable, le miserable, I suppose. We will never stop here. There will never be a moment when we shall stop here. You do not understand. Where do you think you are? This is not a place for any sort of halting or hesitance. Nay. Alright. I'm seeing flamingos all over. there was one suggestion that I wanted to incorporate a way back of while we were joining the battle, but I think a flamingo is going to be decent as well. A flock of flamingos, maybe, in addition. And Leonardo Messi as a mermaid. Somebody really wants me to draw Leonardo Messi as a mermaid. I will have to look him up, how his facial expression or how his facial structure looks like to draw him in a decent manner. So, okay, we have a few things. Let me really quickly jot down. So there's probably going to be like some sort of a coral reef-like ring structure that I'll, later detail. We can have on the sidelines Waba and Wuwa cheering. So, like this. Good thing about these characters is that they're really easy to draw. Just very simplistic design. So, there we have it. They could be, in fact, floating atop a jellyfish, which we will have later detailed in a decent manner. But you get the gist of it. I hope so. Yes. I could even shrink them down a little bit. I don't think they need to take up this much space in the final compositions. This is a very useful thing. I don't know if you noticed, you're noticing this, but I can very quickly select with my select tool and move around certain aspects and subjects within this single canvas, making sure that I arrange things the way that I like. It's not easy to do that on paper. You just immediately go, or you likely have to sketch everything down so as to manage to capture everything in a proper position from the get-go. Now we have more freedom. So there were flamingos and Lionel Messi as a mermaid. Okay. Flamingos could be chilling down here. How do their legs bend? Something like this. And I'm pretty sure their heads are basically like a gigantic question mark. Yeah, somewhat like this. Although they do have a very specific, like, distinct beak. Like this. Sure. And now look at this. We have this one single flamingo, yes? If I want to make a flock, oh my god, my selection tool skills are incredible. Wait, hold on. We don't need a ruler. I can just copy. Yoink. We have, just, duplicate these creatures here and there. These are going to be on the sidelines, cheering this battle commencing in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Probably in Atlantis, maybe. We'll see how you guys decide. Maybe I can make a poll in the for these kinds of decisions. So, let me see. Draw Rail from Blue Lock. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not familiar with Blue Lock. I know it's a really good anime series with a lot of action and football, but right now I want to pay homage to fellas way back. Wait, hold on. To Soma, who was writing way back. Oh no, wait, hold on. Mona Lisa screaming, why stop here? That's an interesting one. Let me see. There were like a whole bunch of emojis sent of the. Oh dang it! I don't think I can scroll back too far. Oh, that's a shame. Well, I'll still draw that suggestion because it was like written a number of times. And zombie mermaids. I'll add Messi. Yeah, there you go. Messi mermaid by J Bob Studios and Somi zombie mermaids. I'll add those. Moai probably is going to be present somewhere here as well. So real quick, how does Messi look like? Messi. Let me see. Okay. Hold on. I have an idea. So we will take this. I like this expression. For now, this is just gonna be like a placeholder for his facial expression. But you know, I'll draw over him lightly because we are short on time. But essentially, he's going to have this is quickly going to become one of the, one of the most cursed drawings that I've made in a while. There we go. I don't know. Let me know, guys, how entertained are you at this point? Is this good content? Are you entertained? Oh wait, hold on. The thumb needs to be extended. Yeah, he's just giving thumbs up to this entire event, because he's so happy to be here. Messi's just overjoyed. So, absolute cinema indeed. Listen, this is the only type of level of content that I am allowed to produce. Just, absolute cinema on the daily. There we go. Let's shrink this boy a little bit and give him a luscious and bodacious mermaid tail. There we go. Our aquatic theme continues. Well, so let me just real quick, might as well, so that we can actually do a better job of capturing his likeness, I will in fact draw over him. Now, this is the proper layer that we're in. So this is a nice demonstration of how you can also simplify the overall shapes of whoever subject you might be dealing with, Try and capture the more distinct features, the overall width of the nostril, the structure of the face. Now these eyebrows are a little bit too thick. You gotta be careful with how much brushwork I apply here. But yes, this is very meditative, guys. I don't know about you, but drawing Messi as a mermaid is kind of cathartic, I have to say. Zorro, somebody wrote, bro, do you mind drawing Zorro by Satnam Singh? I'll see how much time we're gonna have. I have 30 minutes left before we'll move on to tutorial section. So yeah, let me real quick, not to spend too much time on this. I'll have this layer saved, but yeah, this is Messi's awkward smile. Now, keep in mind, this is a really quick sketch, so, right now, right now this is gonna look extra cursed, so bear with me, okay? The cleaner version is gonna look much better. What is this? What is this? Alright. Trust me, this is all gonna work out just fine later on down the line when I'll make a cleaner version of this. Okay? Believe me. So this, there was Somi, Jim Carrey as referee. Okay, Somi, you've had a few suggestions that already you have sent in. I'm gonna just add a couple of zombies in the background that you wrote previously, and I'm gonna move on and see other people's suggestions as well, because you're a standout for some reason in this picture in terms of how many suggestions I have drawn so far. Okay. Also. So you had like one more suggestion that I wanted to include, which was mermaid zombies. And they're probably gonna be, you know, very thin, slightly half, like, you know, decaying sort of creatures of the underwater with very ghoulish looking, sort of maybe like seaweed hairs floating in the water. This looks like a ghost, like an underwater ghost actually, but yeah, once I'm gonna maybe adjust my microphone. Once I'm gonna polish this, for whatever reason, Messi feels very nonchalant about the fact that behind his back there's a horde of zombie mermaids approaching him, you know? He's just chill with it, you know? He's dealing with this reality with whatever way he can. As best as he can, you know? Boom, boom, boom. Quickly, quickly, quickly. And there we go. All right. That is fine so far. Okay. Messi is taking up a decent amount of space. Let me just slightly shrink him a little bit so that he's not squishing Wawa and Wuwa too much. All right. There was a... Smile Productions. Please draw a fish detective. Oh, interesting. There could be... Now, when I think of a fish detective, there's a couple of ways that I could draw that fish, you know. Anthropomorphized version of a fish would probably have a monocle on its head with, instead of like its regular fins, see, hold on. In order for this to be a fish detective, aside from the spectacle, we're gonna have to have... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up. This spectacle is just a fancy eyewear. And detectives are known for their, you know, looking glasses. So, and their detective hats. And their stern looks. Wait, hold on. Yes, something like this. So a detective noir hat wearing fish in the ocean is going to be somewhat of this type of qualitet, yes? And hey, we're probably gonna be holding on to here a looking glass with which he is going to be investigating. He should be like a little bit in the background, probably ready to investigate some sort of a potential crime scene that might occur in this scene, because maybe the investors of this fight are corrupt for some reason, and this fight going down in the illegal alleys of the Atlantis are not under the proper regulations. Let me merge these layers together. Wait, hold on. I need to make the shrimp man bigger, make him a little bit more intimidating. Maybe even like shift his proportion just a bit. But yes. Let me take a look. All right, I need to make sure that David is also, by the way, on the line here, helping me out with the chat a little bit. Shrimpy. Oh yes. Thank you very much for your super chat, Shrimpy. all the loves and hugs and best wishes to you. We appreciate you very much for being such a dedicated fan. I see that you wrote in the previous super chat as well that I watch your videos all the time. I much appreciate it. We try our best to push out all the wackiest contents as possible, you know? Oh, he just wrote. So this one was a super chat now recently. Okay, that's why it was like a message that I wasn't able to see. It's a bit of a difficult endeavor. I have you guys open here, and I need to get used to how I need to look back and forth in order to make sure that I can capture everyone's suggestions properly. So the detective fish is done. Let's see what else I can add to this canvas. We have quite a lot of time actually, more than 20 minutes. Oh, I am a stupid man, Shrimpy. You're apparently an artist on YouTube, and dang, hold on. Shame on me, real quick. I just need to check you out. Come on. Oh, snap. Okay. Alright, mate. You gained a subscriber. And I'll check out your videos. I'm interested. We'll see. You're doing a lot of stuff here, like sculptures and everything. Okay. That's later. Not right now. Let us get back to the drawing and see how well we can do. Oh, hold on. Yeah. But why stop here? No, of course, yeah, no. Why stop here? Indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so who else and what else? A fishy with hot legs, mate. Relax, calm yourselves. Let's refrain from these sorts of imagery. Thank you, Shrimpy, by the way. Thank you very much. Again, you've donated another super chat. My gosh. Hey, thank you so much. Much appreciated. I'm trying to provide all the wackiest content as always. Let's see here. Hold on. We have a few spaces here left. Okay, hold on. A space for... Oh my gosh. Wait, why am I not able to... Couldn't be doing it because of the layers? Which layer am I in? Oh, I'm in no layer. There we go. Now I'm in the proper layer. Luca Babunaze? We have a few Georgians in the chat as well. Oh, Moai. I remember that we had a Moai somewhere in the chat way back, and I've noticed one as well. Moai Shrek, however, is an interesting one. Moai Shrek indeed. Everybody is going with okay, Moai, and I'm gonna do Zoro, sitting somewhere as well, perched very menacingly. So a Moai Shrek would be a very easy, Moai to draw in general, because I don't know how many, it's at least like more than 10 times that I've drawn like a highly detailed Moai already in the course of this channel's existence. So I'm pretty familiar with the overall structure, We got let me even do a little bit of shading here. That's how well acquainted I am with this shape at this point. Essentially, this is what we have. But if you want to make it a Shrek Moai, all we need to do, really, is instead of its original ears, we can just do this. Hold on. I'm gonna do a better job of proportioning this. Bam! Moai Shrek for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we can even repeat this. Oh, nope. Hold on. Let's make this full, and where's the lasso tool? There you go. Yes, and repeat this as a... Hold on. Let me delete this section. Yes. And just repeat them down the row as if they're like the Easter Island version of Moai Shreks. Overlooking this landscape. I think 4 is going to be enough. Boom. Whip. No text, please. Not necessary in this case. All right, here we have the Moais. I'll add them here a little bit because I think landscape-wise, just to make sure that the proportions and everything of this beautiful scene is going to be, you know, decently captured. I think the corals and stuff might go somewhere here, vaguely speaking. You know, we'll have like a coral here, stuff like here. Generally speaking, I think this is like a decent outline for the landscape. I'm not filling these spaces in just to like, you know, cover these areas that are empty with something. I'm just trying to structure the overall scene a little bit so that later on, you know, I can add in characters and your suggestions appropriately. All right, moving on. Let's see here. What do we have? We had Zorro. Yes. Zorro perched on top of a Moai Shrek. Ah, interesting. Smita Agarwal. Sure thing. Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. Hello. There we go. Now, again, composition-wise, I'm looking... This is the overall image, right? Let me shrink this down a little bit. Shrink this down a little bit, like so. Yes, because I want the central scene to be the largest. This battle. These fellas, I think I want to move them over a little bit here. Wait, I think without our fishy detective. Yes. And somewhere atop this, we'll have... Let me quickly look up as a reference. Zorro. Oops. Hold on. Image of Zorro. Just to be sure that I get his character, you know, properly. Opa, hold on. We have another super chat. You should draw the rock as a rock. Sure thing, buddy. We'll see where we can fit the rock. I think we might fit him on the other side as a statue or as like a face. But first and foremost, Zorro, One Piece. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Oh my gosh, so cool. Very, very cool. He has a very iconic look. An iconic garb. I'm gonna use a post time skip. Clothing with his... I guess this is like a pants that he has underneath his... like, jacket? Would you call it or something? So... with a sort of like a scarf wrapped around him where... well, not a scarf, but like a cloth belt where he keeps his swords. Behind him. So he would have... you. He would have his arm like slung over like so, because he has either Enma or another one of his other swords. I only remember Enma as by name as one of his swords. He has like legendary swords as his arsenal. Okay, there we go. By the way, again, I need to be better at this, like focusing. The person who wrote the super chat suggesting the rock being drawn as a rock, thank you. I shall do a justice to that suggestion of yours, for which you have spent some amount of money to be shown very colorfully. But here, oh, Spam was your name. Thank you. David is helping me out with this as well, because he's like keeping an eye on you as well. He's making sure that I'm, you know, not being too distracted with the drawing process, because believe it or not, I'm having a lot of fun actually. And if I let myself go like completely, I will be like tuning you out, fellas and gals, really quickly. So I must make sure to keep my focus, and David is a crucial help in this case. Let me not, you know, give you a little bit of a better view of Zoro here with his mossy hair. I think I'll increase the resolution of the final drawing just to make sure that these like smaller details are going to be captured better. His jawline actually does come down quite low, but yeah. And he has a pretty wide neck. After time skip, I mean, I think most One Piece crew characters have gotten like a wide treatment, widening, so to say. Yeah. Nope. Not that. All right. That should be fine. This is fine. As he has a bandana on the side here. A hand. He's going to be perched like so. With his sword hanging off like so a little bit. And there. We'll have Zoro hanging out on Moai Shrek. As an addition to this monument, I think it would be appropriate to add right next to it the rock as a rock. So let me take a look. How does the rock look like? Oh yeah, he has this very, you know, iconic look where he raises his eyebrow. I can't do it that well, but yeah, it's pretty, you know, easily recognizable. You don't really need to do that much work drawing-wise in order to capture his likeness. All you need to do is just, you know, this, and the rest is pretty easy. But you know, I'll try my best to actually like do him justice. So, in the photo that I'm looking at, he's kind of looking this side. It's kind of hard, actually. I should probably mirror him. Nah, it's fine. I will mirror him in my own mind. So, the rock is gonna, you know, have some, believe it or not, rock formations around him in this sort of a geological manner, like so. Fish eating sushi in a toilet? Why? Fish eating a sushi could be something that I could actually add to the addition of this entire scene. All right, oh snap! I only have 10 minutes left. It'll be quick. I'll do a quick job of capturing his likeness here and there. He has a bit of a Pretty big jawline, but bam, 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 bam. When I'll be cleaning up the version, the final version, I'm gonna make sure to add all the proper shading and everything. But basically, yes, Rock as the Rock is gonna be present in this drawing. Let me shrink the ear of our Moai a little bit so that it's not that jutting out too much. Oh, let me see what else. What else? Draw a fish hook. Somebody wrote with a whole bunch of emojis. You know what? Why not? And it would make sense for Rock to be looking at a fish hook because he's being distracted. That's why he's raising his eyebrow. There you go. Boom. Real quick. Yo, please try drawing a swan swimming on bricks, please. XNG3LO. Let me try my best to do that. Swan swimming on bricks? That would be... Well, the swan will be floating, I'm assuming, underwater. So it's like it's riding in somehow, as on like a underwater transport, I guess. Swan riding in on a brick. There you go. That is how I interpret it. Let's, you know, interesting addition to it. Perhaps bricks in this world is a means of transportation underwater. 5 Elders One Piece? Maybe. We'll see. There is already a One Piece character here. JADOKAR sitting on the chicken jockey. Chicken jockey, my gosh. Sure, why not? Let me see how the Minecraft chicken looks like. That's a funny one. Chicken jockey! Why did that become a meme? I don't understand. Sometimes the internet, it just is. It just happens. There's no real logic behind it. And it's not... The creators of the movie, what did they think when they scripted that moment and animated it and spent like hours and hours on end constructing the 3D models in the software and then finally pressing the button rendering? Did they think that this would become like a sort of a mini cultural event online where people would be like celebrating anytime a chicken jockey would appear in a very celebratory manner? I don't know. It's something to think about. So if Wawa and Wuwa are sitting on the jellyfish, then JADOKAR most definitely and most assuredly would be right next to them. Only in JADOKAR's case, he would be perched atop of our lovely Minecraft chicken. Now, this is a bit of a difficult drawing to do, although I am trying to do it as quick as possible. But you see, like, drawing Minecraft characters is a pretty good exercise in perspective, because you have to kind of keep everything in line. Funny enough, and it's like a more complex version of drawing like a cube in perspective, because there's so many more like facets. There you go. Scop, and that's the chicken. Wait, hold on. I think I need to push the feet back a little bit more. So how's your day going, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing? How's life in South Africa, in Sweden, in India, in US, I'm assuming, in parts of Europe? How are y'all feeling? How's life treating you? Good. Very nice, fish. Very nice. Good to hear. In Latvia, hey! Labdien! Hope you are doing well. I'm from Argentina. My gosh! You guys are fascinating. You're all over the world. The internet really makes you feel like the world is so small. Alright, oh my god, I got distracted by this chicken way too much. I went into detail. So we had this, and we need our little JADOKAR. Strapped up with... I don't remember, did the chicken jockey actually have like a... Because jockey, isn't that the term for the knight warriors that used to like duel on horses with these long sticks? Isn't that the term? Whoops, I think that's where it comes from. So yeah, maybe JADOKAR is holding on to a version of that. Boom. With a very intense expression. Because why not? Because in fact, why stop here? Oh my goodness. There. JADOKAR chicken jockey. We have him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Let me... In case of a drawing being a little bit too light and not really visible in the layer, you can just copy, paste, 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 and boom! All of a sudden, it is a lot more visible. Oh, wow! Magic! Although, you have to make sure that you don't overcook your layers and just, you know, keep everything tidy. Nice. All right, 2 more minutes left. Here, something. I will add something here, maybe. Later on, I will just add like a... There's a fish eating the sushi and Freddie Mercury. These are the 2 major suggestions that I'm seeing here. Somebody's like very super passionate about it. Innuendo and SXGE. All right, these 2 are going to be the last additions. I'm so sorry. In the next stream, I will do more of these, and we will have more and more fun with these suggestions. But for now, I think these are going to be the last 2 that I'm going to add. After which, we will move on. The stream doesn't end here, ladies and gentlemen. No, we will move on to like tutorial topics. So, as a quick sketch, this is where the Atlantis is going to be, with fancy schmancy architectural details and whatever and whatnot. Later on, that's going to be landscape in the background. Fish eating sushi, probably on a sushi tray, is probably going to be like positioned neatly over here, like this, like this. Oh yes, and with a very delicate fin, they will be holding with chopsticks a piece of a sushi roll. So obviously, you know, this would be a carnivorous fish. Delighting itself in the delicacies of the underworld of the sea and the ocean. A little bit morbid, I have to say, but, you know, thank you, Rishi Drawings. I appreciate your warm comments. There you go. That's a fish. That's a fish eating another fish. Like I said, morbid, but fun. Fun looking. So we have that scene, and Freddie Mercury could be, because we had so many of him, spammed. What would Freddie... you know what? I'm seeing Fishzilla here, so I will ride him in the background. We'll have... So this is going to be like a Fishzilla, I'm assuming. Creepy, creepy, creepy looking. With tiny hands. And as a quick jot, Freddie Mercury is going to be singing here later on. I think it is time to move on to the tutorial at this point. So, you know, I'm just going to... Freddie Mercury is going to be riding on the Fishzilla. And boom! Okay! First hour of the stream, the first section is done. Let's take a look at the final result and see how this all panned out. Alright. Very wacky and very goofy. Love it. I will arrange this composition later. When I'm going to be making this video, I will detail the entire process for y'all to see. But for now, this is it. Let us now... Don't worry, Innuendo. No, it's okay. Now the next section, the next hour of the stream is going to be... the tutorial... Hold on. The tutorial section! Oh! My god. Let me switch the music a little bit, because I think it is about time that I have something else playing in the background. A nice change of pace. I'll make a new layer here. So, hold on. We will call this... Why is the mouse not working decently? Live suggestions. Right? Hide suggestions. Very nice. Okay. So, boom. Oh! Why? Why are you freaking out? All right. Now, in this section of the stream, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're gonna do. Welcome to the channel, by the way, if you're the new viewer. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Wherever you're from! Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, by all means. And now, you, like in the previous section of the stream, where you were writing in the suggestions for me to capture in a live drawing, now you can write in topics of tutorials that you would like me to explain to you. For instance, how to draw a nose, how to draw perspective in different, like what is one point perspective, 2-point perspective, and so on. So, again, I'll try to be as quick as possible, and I'll try to explain as much as possible. Crazy gamers. I am a Georgian indeed, by ethnicity. I lived all over the place here and there, but yes. And yeah, I'm already seeing some suggestions here, and somebody is saying neck, human proportions. So, you know what? Human proportions, it may be. I think it's a pretty commonly searched up topic. People want to draw other people, so let me do that. Let me show you what I know, at least. You know, classically speaking, there's a certain amount of times a human head can fit within the entirety of its height. It's sometimes some like tutorial diagrams show that it fits. What is it like? Sometimes they say that it is fit within the entirety of the height. Okay, I didn't jot these down well. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, what does that mean? Some diagrams say that this is the appropriate measure with which you would usually, you know, hold on, like measure out the human head in relation to its entire body. I've seen all sorts of diagrams. It's also an interesting thing to keep in mind that this applies to adults. Kids, on the other hand, usually have a bigger head. So, for instance, you know, like a child would usually have a more, like, their proportions are slightly silly. They have smaller bodies and bigger heads. very roughly speaking, you know. That is a kid, a 7-year-old kid, more or less, very roughly speaking. I'll draw a more detailed drawing, but usually this is the amount that you get. Sometimes it's like 7.5. I've seen people draw like 8, you know. Let's do another one. Boom. In this case, the build would be a lot bigger and stronger for the human body, so a head size might be this big, but the overall bulk of the body becomes a lot more statuesque, muscular, big, giga-chadish, you know? So you see, a head is a pretty important, not important, well, it is an important part of the body, but it's a pretty vital part of the body or the figure drawing, which if you don't match well in relation to the body, you might feel that there's something wrong with it. Like there might be like some sort of an uncanny feeling with what you're drawing. So keep that in mind. How to draw better perspective. That's another suggestion. Gibatono. I'll do that next one. But yes, that's an interesting thing to keep in mind, that the human head can fit this many times, about, you know, 7 or 8. But then the rest of the proportions, really quickly, just to finish this one topic, you know, I've seen all sorts of like, you know, divisions. Let me do a 7.5 actually. Yoink, like this, 7.5 head. Draw the entirety of the this body height. Usually the middle point, this is what I mean, you know. The middle point of this entire length would be something like this. Yeah, no? If I take this... Wait, hold on. And copy it down here. Yeah, I am so precise, almost precise, you know. There, that was pretty good. Usually, what this indicates is the base of the pelvis from which you have your legs extended. You know what I mean? Roughly around here. There are different body types, all sorts of body types. Some that are, you know, slightly misaligned, so to say, according to the standard diagram of the body. But basically, roughly speaking, this is the base of your pelvis from which you will extend your legs. Now, what the name of this bone is, I forgot. I think it's a collarbone? Usually, this bone is slightly longer than a calf bone. I think. I'm hopefully not butchering these terms. By the way, if you don't know this, I have not been trained classically. So all of these things are me basically teaching myself, seeing all sorts of YouTube tutorials, drawing from reference and everything, and kind of remembering these things from memory. So this is a pretty crucial point, like a half point between this entire height of the body. And then the rest is, you could do something like this, you know? Divide this upper portion in thirds, rather. That's where you get the base of your neck, where it connects to the torso. And the top part of the diaphragm, so to say, hold on. Let me demonstrate. Where the top of your chest sort of ends, so to say, in this area. And that's where you get your diaphragm, your torso, rather. You could be anatomically precise with like shoulder blades and whatnot, or you can just very roughly trapezoid shapeify your body. And then, if this is your pelvis, if this is your torso, your belly button is somewhere in the middle, more or less. Long leg body type, indeed, yeah. But if you'll pay attention to the figure drawings, you'll notice how long legs are actually, because you know you do get different kinds of body types, like I said, with shorter legs. But in general, legs are pretty long. No one. But yes, why I drew the belly button is because usually somewhere around this height of the belly button is where your elbow would end or begin, again, depending on the body type. You have all sorts of hands, you know? But this is a pretty decent reference. I use it personally for myself as an orientational point. And there. The palm of the hand is usually about the size of your face, kind of. So that's a pretty decent reference that you can take and repeat. And look, oh my goodness, this is a pretty decent figure proportional thingy that you can take it home with you. Now, I've seen somebody write how to do proportions. Let me take a look at the chat. Foreshortening and dynamic poses. I've just taken my driving license. Congratulations, no. Hey, yo, what's up? Hello, Sherry Abraham. How to draw poses. I always wanted to learn how to draw horses. Yes. 3 times. I read your message through. All of these subjects I would recommend to draw from reference, because me drawing this in front of you, sure, I could simplify these things, but you should try and have a picture of whatever you like and draw from reference. But something that relates to foreshortening and drawing, so for instance, where was this comment? Just Hellbound 420, foreshortening and dynamic poses. That's, and Yashi also wrote the same thing. I think this is a pretty interesting topic to discuss. What is foreshortening? It's a phenomena where objects shrink away into the distance due to how close we are in proximity to whatever subject we are. So what do I mean by that? If we take a cube and imagine we are looking at this cube with a telescopic lens from kilometers away, you would actually, in real life, get an isometric like image of what you would be looking at, you know? You can test this by going to Google Earth and looking at a flat image, you know, not using the 3D rendered buildings. The satellite image, well, those aren't satellite images from what I know, they're like plane images, but they're like far away enough that you can see all of the, you know, skyscrapers look parallel to one another in pictures, and they seem like really flat. That's because of how far away we are from the object. But as soon as we come really close to the cube, what happens is, let's say we can picture a horizon, jot down 2 vanishing points, extend 1, extend 2, and then jot down 1 below here, the third vanishing point below the horizon, and extend 1. Wait, hold on. Okay, I missed a little bit. Extend 1 here. What happens is you get a very hyper-exaggerated view of this cube from up close, where the foreshortening effect is in full effect. You can see how all these facets, the top ones and the side ones, the left one, the right one, and the top one, each of them seem to very distinctly shrink away from this very close-up point into not only the distant horizon on the horizon line, but also down below, because I'm using a 3-point perspective. How to draw in 4th dimensions. Listen, that's a whole topic of discussion that y'all might not be ready for. I'm probably going to have to use VR for that or something, maybe, and show you through that. But, okay, I'm just kidding. 4th dimension would mean that you would have to draw in time, and so perpetually like morphing your drawing as you're drawing it in multiple variations of it all at the same time. It was something crazy and wacky, insane. But essentially, this is foreshortening, very simply explained, so to say. I'll do one more example with a 4-point perspective. So meaning when you have not only the 2 vanishing points on the horizon, but also equally distanced vanishing points below and above the horizon line. So in this case, what you would have is these sort of bendy guidelines according to which you would place whatever subject you would want on this horizon. Let me do it like this. So let's say we have a cube, right? Again, once more. We're looking at a cube from a corner, from like very straightforward, yes? We still get this facet. Oh, you know what? Heck it, I say. Let's shift the cube a little bit in space and choose its side over here and over here. So you would imagine these guidelines continuing and gradually becoming more and more like closely mirroring the outer perfect circle. But yes, see this. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, yoink. We would get a view of the cube of such manner. Imagine this is a apartment building, and we're somewhere on the height of the second floor, or the beginning of the third floor rather. And realistically, we would get this sort of a view quite up close if we would take these vanishing points and really push them far apart from one another. We would theoretically recede away in our field of view from this subject, and we would get a flatter image. The foreshortening effect would be lesser in this case. That's all it is, essentially, with foreshortening. So when you are drawing dynamic poses using this, again, if we adhere to this very sort of a flat projection, so to say, like isometric projection, you would get a very flat looking figure drawn in a very flat manner. Boom, boom, with all of its guidelines and everything sort of parallel with one another. The vanishing guidelines, rather, if I were to draw them out, all of them would technically be parallel with one another, and where they would eventually meet in somewhere down the line in the horizon would be like super far. Those points are way outside the bounds of our working canvas, for instance. But if we want to do a super duper dynamic pose and crazy mom I threw up pose, what is this? Let me just look up this. Threw up. This is okay. I'm accidentally drawing memes that I'm not even aware of, apparently. Okay. This. I'm looking at this right now. This. Wait, hold on. For those of you who aren't savvy. Wait, hold on. What am I doing here? Yeah. This is apparently the reference that somebody wrote down in the comments. Bill Glasseater. Can you draw a kid with instructions, please? A kid with instructions. Oh. Kid with instructions. There you go. I'm just kidding. Here are the general instructions. I'm quickly going to finish off this topic, the foreshortening and the dynamic poses, and then I'll move on and see. Well, I want to learn how to draw hands, nose, and eyes. Ooh, that's another pretty complex topic, which I can address. We have 40 minutes still, so there's quite a lot of time that we have. I can go through a few topics. Let me take a water break. Hydrate yourself. It's important so that your brain doesn't become a mush. Or not mush, actually, the opposite of that, like a prune. What I was saying now, you know, continuing from this, dynamic poses would involve this sort of exaggerated perspective, fisheye perspective almost, because you're super up close and you want your vanishing points to be as close and in view of your working canvas. So, for instance, you could even dynamically, you know, draw a Dutch angle, so meaning that the entire scene is tilted. And let's say your vanishing points are slightly outside of your working bounds, and there's a central point, so the top and the bottom vanishing points would be here. You can use this guide, this sort of a reference, anytime you would like to draw the dynamic sort of scene with the dynamic perspective. And you can shift this around as well. You don't have to place this grid necessarily in the center or, you know, fully in view of this working canvas that you choose, like this square, for instance. And hold on, let me oh my god, why am I not capable of... I think I'm rushing too much. So there, where once more, nice. So, and let's do a few guidelines from the center point so as to just, you know, create a floor grid as well. Now, whatever you draw here, for instance, starting with a foot, okay, of a human being, right? Now look, this guide is kind of, let me make it slightly smaller actually. This guide is already sort of suggesting to you how your human would have to be drawn and bent according to this field of vision, you know? So a dynamic field of vision of sorts would already automatically provide you with a more sort of like a less rigid and less flat look, because see here, see here. All I'm doing here is I'm just following this curve, you know, this general curve. I could even like, now I've built this mannequin entirely like very quickly and intuitively, but you could also break this down and like choose your anchor like as one single line as your main anchor of your like body and your spine, so to say. And if you want to draw your human being aligned with this, you can have an easier time sort of locating where how your figure should be standing, so to say. But this sort of perspective can give you the opportunity to do all sorts of wacky stances, you know. Let me show you, for instance. Now this was oriented all like the figure is standing, roughly speaking, like very statically, so to say, rigidly. But if you want, in a running position, see, we have all these guidelines again, the vanishing points. If the fella is running, this foot is super far away and super small, but if we follow this line, somewhere down the line here, we would get our, not directly here, but shifted slightly over here. If this is the left leg, okay, somewhere over here we would get our left, right. Like, my god, I'm mixing things up right now. You see? The foreshortening effect really allows you to... Wait, hold on. Allows you to kind of exaggerate the perspective quite a lot. And you have to keep in mind these sort of guidelines, and not only the vanishing points, these vanishing guidelines, so to say, to help you to shrink and zoom in to your subject's, you know, body parts and everything. Where would the thumb go? The thumb would go somewhere here. Yeah, but yes, these like crazy dynamic postures are possible to be drawn if you are using these sorts of rules, these guidelines. Anyways, that's I think that's a decent summary. I understand it now, Yashi. Well, thank you. I'm glad you do. Again, now me showing you this is just a demonstration, but you have to practice. You know, have to apply yourself and sketch this down a little bit. Anime poses are most definitely possible in these sorts of grid lines, you know, or these. A pretty good example is actually Dandadan's panels. Art, for instance. Let me bring in one example where isn't her name Ayase? Where she like round kicks, or this is wackadoo, super duper crazy. Hold on. Would this be Control V? Yes. So holy smokes, like the amount of, and also the amount of proportional manipulation and what's happening here. Let me shrink this. No, not shrink, but like reduce the opacity. Yes, I do watch Dandadan. I am actually caught up with the manga as well. I couldn't help myself, you know. I couldn't wait for the manga to be released, or the anime series to be released, so I had to read. My gosh, there's so much happening here. Like the field of vision, I think, is sort of like warped in this sort of a manner. Somewhere down the line over there is the vanishing point, maybe. And you have this guy kind of with his foot breaking in and breaking through this fourth wall, and gradually have his features like receding further into the distant horizon down there, alongside with Ayase just being carried. Look at this. Look at the size of her and the size of him. Again, in relation to this scene. That's also like it's a pretty decent method to take these references and just draw over them and study them in this manner. You can learn a lot by drawing over and seeing how you can try and scan from decent examples of like artwork, like how these rules are being applied and how they're being broken. But yes, how to draw 5D. Listen, you're going into dimensions that are beyond me, Hossein Rezapour. But alas, let's hold on. Which layer was I in? Here. What else? What else would you like me to demonstrate to you, ladies and gentlemen? Any of you watching right now? Let me see. Anime hands. Thanks. How long have you been alive? How long have I been alive for? 32 years. Leia. That's how long I have been alive. Can you show some perspective drawing tips and tricks? Oh, hello. Never watched Dandadan. I would recommend it. It's really fun. Very extraordinary and unorthodox, I would say, in terms of like pacing, art style. Super interesting. Make an anime version of yourself. Wait, hold on. Hands. I'm seeing hands. I'm seeing a lot of hands. Hands. Let's do hands. And I can also relate this to perspective as well. Anime hands. Also, a lot of people are drawing, saying anime hands. It's a good thing to learn how to draw hands in general. Let me see. When I showed you the perspective exercises, right, of drawing your cube in a hyper exaggerated manner and super rigid manner. Keep these things in mind. Try and also rotate these geometric objects in space as much as possible to get a hang of like drawing them properly. Because why is this important? When you're drawing hands, essentially a hand it can be constructed from multiple different kinds of, you know, geometric shapes if you want to simplify it, and I think it's a good idea to do so. You know, anatomically speaking, there's so much going on here, just in the wrist area as well. Like how many bones are within a single palm is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's crucial to be able to like learn how to do this kind of stuff. You know, if you want to, boom. Rotate this further. Once you're able to do this, you are going to be able to draw hands from all sorts of angles, because it's an easy enough of a thing to like draw a hand as a diagram. Once more, you have your wrist area, your general palm, your 4 main digits, roughly speaking, your main phalanx is the same length as your entirety of your, you know, palm, wrist area. You subdivide that in half, you subdivide the top part in half, and that's where you get your phalanx, your finger phalanx. And you gradually, like, arch down from your middle finger to your index finger. Same thing happening here. Divide in half, divide in half, divide in half, divide in half, and divide in half, and divide in half. So learning proportions is also pretty crucial, you know, understanding how the hand is drawn and how the hand is rather built, so to say. That's the first thing to know about the hand. Like, how do these proportions are played out in reality? And when it comes to the thumb, your thumb, in fact, grows from the side. You can always look at your palm, you know, your own hand, and kind of check the proportions and see, like, bending your thumbs and seeing how, to what extent they are matching the entirety of the height of the palm. So you can see, like, this first phalanx is somewhere halfway between like this and this area. Your next phalanx of your thumb is somewhat matching all of the rest of the knuckles, and then you have the rest of the thumb. So the last phalanx. So boom, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, take a look at this. What a demure hand. Oh, snap, hold on. We have a super chat that was actually really helpful on the dynamic poses and foreshortening bit. You helped clicked some things into place. Appreciate you, bro. Just Hellbound 420. Appreciate you. Thank you for your super chat. Love to help. This is the entire purpose of this stream today. We had suggestions, fun part at the beginning. Now we're having, you know, education. Yay! Learning a whole bunch of things. And I hope that I'm able to deliver some knowledge into your brains. But yes, this is, look at this. Look at it. Pretty realistic. Yes. Hand proportions. Good. You have that, but then, like I said, if you aren't able to do this, if you aren't able to flip around three-dimensional objects in space, well, what the hell do you do with the hand? You kind of have to yoink, like, shift it down, and see the foreshortening effect. You have the silhouette of the hand, and then boom, you have just like 5 nubs in front of you. How do you understand that in 3 dimensions? It's pretty important. Legendary JADOKAR, what they hear, I don't understand this message. I'm so sorry. But anyways, yeah, look real quick, just like a last. Uh-huh. You should understand how to shift down these shapes and draw them in all sorts of positions. Twisted, bent, with your fingers spread far apart or some of them together. Hands are so versatile. Your thumb being, you know, separately bent like this a little bit. It could be, instead of this, it could be like this. A hand is truly one of the most complex body parts with which you can kind of experiment with when drawing, because each and single digit can be bent individually in different kinds of areas. Like, look what's happening with my hand here. It's insane. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Doing all of that on a piece of paper is essentially, you would have like an entire page filled with your hand studies alone, just to understand how to get the hang of it. But simplifying the shapes into geometric, forms like cylinders and so on can help you do that, to capture the volumes in 3 dimensions better. So yes, take this home with you. What else? This is the art man. What's up? Pete G521. It is me. Yes! How to draw a female face. That's a good one. Drawing men and women. I had not trouble necessarily, but yeah, like, feminine features are, would you believe it, quite diverse. Just look at One Piece characters. I know there nowadays, like, there is one similar type that Oda seems to be using and relying on quite a lot, like Nami's face. But you had, what was it, like the mermaid lady? I think Robin had a pretty unique look way back. What's the Rayleigh's like friend where they meet at the archipelago? I mean, like, female facial features can be of all sorts. There are women with strong jawlines. There are women with oval jawlines, or more oval sort of like facial features. So again, having references as a guide is a pretty good thing. Whatever reference you like, it could be from anime or it could be from real life. But as a quick comparison, let's say we have one key feature, I think, usually with female we have kids and I enjoy laughing to your vids. Love what you do. Thank you, Dexter's Lab. So very much for your super chat. Much appreciated. I'm always glad to hear that all ages are able to enjoy our entertainment and also our educational videos. I hope that the kids are also being able to learn to draw as well. If in any way my crazy and wacky drawings are able to help, hopefully. Let me see. So yeah, what was I focusing on? Yes, the female bodies. Usually, female characters, due to their physique, have narrower necks. Adam's apple is completely, you can dispense with this. No need for this. And again, you could have like oval featured like jawlines, but you could have a strong jawlined woman. But the proportions and everything of the face are essentially the same, The nose, dividing the face in thirds. Scop, and scop. You get your nose, you get your forehead, you get your this area where the lips end up slightly above the half point. And yes. It's a delicate thing. It's hard to explain, but like, for instance, like in this case, now that I'm drawing this face and I'm kind of going along, right? I can really easily also turn this face into a male face per se. Again, what are male, masculine features? Traditionally speaking, it's like a strong not only jawline but a strong cheekbone. So all of a sudden, this could be a man, but again, it depends. It depends. Female characters could also have strong jawlines. So, what are some good examples, actually? And isn't in one of the Madagascar movies, the French policeman, her jawline is like super rectangular, isn't it? So I think there are like cheat codes that you can use, like, makeup style eyebrows, like, that are done in a very, delicate manner, eyelashes. Indication of lipstick can suggest that the character is a female. Long hair can do that as well. Drawing women and men is about these, like, individual components. How much of what you add and reduce and, manipulate, so to say. If you don't want cheekbones, all of a sudden, see, boom, the cheekbone is gone. Damn, all of a sudden, it's way more, feminine, demure, the face, so to say. If I reduce the jawline a little bit, the sharpness of it, rather, and make it a little bit more round, oh my gosh, even more demure and delicate, so to say. But again, female faces and women's faces are diverse. They're all sorts of faces. What is it? Oh, there's one artist, like, from the 80s. Hold on, I want to search this one up. Oh yeah. What's Grace Jones? Is that Grace? Yeah, Grace Jones. Yeah, I mean, just as a comparison. Boom. Her and Patrice Rushin. Let me get a slightly better picture. Yep, this will be decent. Boom. Yeah. Just as an example, Hold on. So, both of these are female, but look at the characteristics. Look at the jawline. Look at the cheekbones and the forehead. But see what I mean? Like, there's greater diversity in all sexes, so to say. So it's not just one archetype that you can take in terms of a drawing. You could have like a character drawn in your manga or your favorite, or your original storyline with a single type, kind of like how Oda does with Nami, Robin, and a slew of characters, and that's fine. That's also okay. But also, you can explore real life examples, real human beings, and you'll come across with a variety of different kinds of, facial features that both women and men have. And it's up to you to decide what you want to add. Do you want to add accessories? Do you want to draw, long hair? Do you want to make your female or male characters bald? Do you want to make their heads concave and turn them into androids? Do you want to add a mustache and a little bit of a goatee? All of this is up to you. And depending on how far you want to take things, if you want to reduce the eyelashes, if you want to increase the eyebrow thickness, boom, all of a sudden now, see, it's a spectrum is what I'm trying to say. So, yes, brain damage, yay. Jeff Jarvis. It's a complex thing, I know it's not a woman anymore. Amar Ikui. But all I changed was I added a mustache, increased the thickness of the eyebrows, got rid of the eyelashes, sharpened the jawline a little bit. In fact, let me do this. Let me blow your mind a little bit more. Bam! Wide neck. Oh, that's a Giga Chad now. No, hold on. Now it's a Giga Chad. No, hold on. Now it's an even more of a Giga Chad. What do you say about that? This is what I mean. All of it is up to you to manipulate and understand. Again, take references from real life. That's how you will be able to increase your mental library of these different kinds of archetypes and facial features and play with them. Does they identify as a woman? That's a great question. That's also up to you to decide as a original character creator. I want to learn how to draw noses. And there's a whole bunch of nose emojis that you've spammed. Dodo Gamer Monsef Mimole. Oh my god, it's a long name. Yes, sure. Let's do noses. I have done. I don't know how many of you might or might have not seen this character, but there's a famous, famous-ish in our roster of characters. A creature of sorts that is a sort of what I'd like to call a nose man, so to say. So it's somewhat like it looks something like this. Just recently I drew, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but the short detailing, the short video and the Instagram reel tutorial about the ear. If you'll take a look through our catalog, there are a number of these cursed creatures that I have created over the 2.5 years of this channel's existence. But yes, how to draw a nose. Let me dive into this. So this is a cursed, okay, but regardless, it's a nose, Azrael. Yes, indeed. Obnoxiously nosy nose. Yes. The way that I broke it down way back was kind of interesting, because essentially what a nose is a triangle in space. Let's let me hold on. Let me fix my posture a little bit. It's a nose. A nose is a triangle first and foremost that you can extend the base of in this manner. So you have like a 90-degree angle over here, right? And you can connect this point and this point together. And now what you have is a pyramid. Thanks for helping me out on my animation journey, Mawin. Oh, what is this? Am I seeing this correctly? Is this that's a pretty big giga-chatified super chat. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Mawin. Much appreciated. I try my best, and here I am detailing to you how to draw a nose. Like I said, look, see what I'm doing? We have a facet of the triangle here, a facet of the triangle underneath, and we have this sort of a pyramid. Now, what do we do with this pyramid? We add one sphere over here, and at the tip, two more spheres at the edges over here. And so what do we get? We get nostrils, the tip of the nose, so we connect like so, and the bridge, which, if you can imagine, kind of extending sort of like this. I'm rounding this pyramid out a little bit, and so I essentially drew the nose from the top angles, from the top view. But basically, what I, in one of my sketching sessions, this is what I've discovered. This is how I think you can break down the nose, classically speaking. It's a pyramid with three spherical balls. If we take a look from underneath, so let's say I draw the same Hold on. If I do the same triangle, boom. Wait, hold on. Triangle like so. Extend the base triangle like so. Again, 90-degree angle here, let's say. Let's imagine this is a 90-degree angle, and we have two planes. Connect this point and this point together. We have the pyramid facet. Add one sphere, two sphere, and the big tip sphere. Again, what we get is the nostrils. So they kind of, you know, they more or less go into the depths of the nose like so. This center line kind of indicates the separation between the nostrils, if you will. And then we connect down there with these, with this sphere. You can correct things a little bit. Now we come back to this tip, nose tip, right? And again, we go further up into our nose bridge and eyebrow ridge area. Hold on. Let me clean the work up a little bit. But bam, there you go. A view from below a little bit of the nose. That's one way to simplify it, you know? Pupils, please. Oh, sure thing. Pupils shall be then. Just about time. We have like 7 more minutes left. And we'll move on to the next section of the stream, which is going to be art discussion. I have some ideas prepared, but essentially, yes, that's the nose. That's the gist of the nose. About the eye now. That was another tutorial I did way back. So let's discuss the eyeball first of all. It's kind of fun to imagine this sphere and an iris. So we have the white, and now we have the actual. That's what it's called, isn't it? Iris. Iris, isn't it? Yeah. Iris with its. I believe this is the hole in the center is the pupil. Correct me if I'm wrong, but basically, this iris technically fits if we circle it around the sphere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times around the sphere, so to say, you know. So that's about the size with which you would want your actual realistic eye to be drawn, rather, you know, like the eyeball itself. But obviously this is not the way that you would want to draw the eye of a human being, so you kind of have to encase it with your flappy and foldy eyelids. Some eyelids fold over, some eyelids fold under, depending on, again, the eye build, the amount of fat built up around your, you know, eyelids and everything. Some are super stretched and whatnot. But essentially, yes, we do this, right? And keep in mind, from the top view, if we have our iris, again, this is an interesting way to imagine this. So if I have a center point, boom, 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 boom. This is like 6 times. Your iris would fit 6 times. Your eyelashes would fold around this 3-dimensional sort of a shape. Tomato. Larry eating tomato. Why are you spamming tomatoes all of a sudden, fellas? I like tomatoes just like any other Joe, but right now, I guess you could compare the eyeball to the tomato. But here, let me finish off. I think we have 4 more minutes left. So, you would fold your eyelashes, the upper and the eyelids, rather, the upper and the lower eyelid, over your eye, and then, quickly, just to show, you have this like flesh pillow of sorts that sits atop your eye. That's where you're, like, when you open and close your eyelids, that's where your eyelid sort of... Eyelash. No, eyelid. I'm mixing these terms up. Like, folds in, if you can imagine. If you take a look at the real life examples as well, this is how the eye kind of works. You have this upper area, which some people have it a lot more bony. Some people have it hollowed out because of age, because of different kinds of factors. But yeah, this is your eyelid. Okay. 3 more minutes left. Tomato? Everybody wants to... tomato? Larry eating tomato. First of all, who is Larry? Larry... these vegetable fellas? Which one is Larry? VeggieTales. Tomato is Bob. Eats a tomato. Larry is the cucumber, I think. Wawa eating a tomato. Sure. This up. Alright, okay! The tomatoes. Listen, it's easy. You got a sphere. You squish it. It goes wonk. Like that. You have a little green, like, fold, sprouts coming out of it. Same thing happens underneath, slightly, kind of, actually. And then you kind of get your tomato shape, okay? Now, you add a few eyelids, a mouth, and then you get your Bob. Bob the tomato. Boom. Now, Larry... Hold on. Something like this. It's tomato going in panic mode. As Bob would be screeching at the top of his lungs for his life. Maybe pinch in the fleshy parts here, like that. Listen, I'm a people's man. So if there's enough tomatoes and Larry the tomato being eaten, spammed, listen, how can I go against the people's demands? Here you go. Are you happy now? Are your subconscious or unconscious dreams realized in front of you? Do you perchance regret your decisions? There you go. Boom. This is it. The abomination. Evil Larry eating the tomato. There you go. What are you using? I am using a Canva Pro drawing tablet with a digital pen. We've done a video way back on our YouTube channel that you can check out, which deals with digital drawing. Hold on. I see. Oh, there's another super chat. How to draw an eagle. 7S Madara. Listen. Thank you, first of all, for your super chat. Very appreciated. W's all over the place. And real quick. Oh, another super chat is, but why stop here? But why stop here? Ah! In fact, that is the question of the century. There is no reason to. Thank you for your super chat, potato. Much appreciated. Look, hopefully I've satisfied the urge of y'all of, seeing a tomato being consumed. Now I want to answer real quickly the 7SX Madara's question, how to draw an eagle, using a reference, simplifying the shapes. When you have a image of an eagle, Now I'm not even gonna bother with searching up one, but essentially when you have a big and very strong beard, yes, you want to kind of learn, let's say, if you have complex shapes and elements and whatnot, you want to sort of dissect your image and separate certain aspects, like how does the wing sort of fold onto the body? What is this teardrop sort of a shape? How does the neck kind of bend, starting with like the middle line from the chest and here going over it like so, like so, like so, like so. Doing simplified diagram-like drawings can help you to understand whatever subject you're trying to draw and actually learn much quicker in this regard. You can do this on paper as well. You don't have to have a digital tablet. You can have like a reference image next to you and do this sort of a sketching, like diagram-like sketching on the side. And this way you can learn also the proportions of whatever animal you're trying to learn. So yes, doing reference drawings in this case is really, really crucial and important if you want to learn how to enlarge your brain with references. But hey, it is time now. I am so sorry, but now I want to try this out. Now, what do you say? Let me take a look at this. You've just received, all of you, a fairly decent selection of topics and tutorials. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm gonna try and move on to the next section of the stream. This 1 more hour. I think I'm gonna be streaming for 4 hours in total today, by the way, for y'all information. Just so you know what to wait for and what to look forward to. This upcoming hour, I want to first hydrate. Let me just real quickly switch over to my face. Just take a little bit of a break. I've been drawing for 2 hours nonstop now, so this is in fact quite energy consuming. But hey, I am here to not stop. Here, in fact. Let me switch over. Nah, let's do this one. Yeah, I like this one. Change the music. And, okay. Hold on. All right. I'm going to miss the end. Azrael, I'm so sorry. I hope you enjoyed being here, though. I'll see how I can schedule these streams, because right now, with the Georgian time, I started at 6 in the evening. So I'll see. Maybe I'll extend the overall time span of the stream. Maybe I'm going to start a little bit earlier or later. We'll see how it's going to go, because people are all from all over the world, which is kind of crazy, kind of wacky. But yes, Jaba Bolokishvili, Kaikhare. Stilov. I am, yes, ready to move on to the next section of the stream. First of all, let's change the pace a little bit. We've done the tutorial. Let me look at the chat a little bit and communicate with you. How y'all doing? Tree man. While y'all, a lot of y'all are still in demand for drawing subjects. These will happen in the future. I hope that this stream structure is fun and entertaining for you. Let me know, like in the comments right now, the pacing. Would you like these tutorials to be like longer, or these like suggestion drawing sessions a little bit longer? Do you do paleo art? Sure. I have different kinds of phases, Samson Kamalarajan. There are times when I like to draw ancient civilizations. There are times when I like to draw. I think paleo art, isn't it referring to dinosaurs? Art. Oh, like that's. Hold on, that's really specific, actually. No, like actual, like super highly detailed drawings of like dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. That's pretty cool, though. I have like a number of like paleo art books from my childhood that I like super enjoyed, flipping through. Those were actually some of my like favorite inspirational subjects. But yes, fabulous. This is fun. Thank you, Mogwai. Okay, cool. Well then, listen. Not to diddle daddle any longer, and whatever and whatnot. I'm seeing that you guys are enjoying this, y'all. So let's try something. I have this section of the stream planned for you, which is art discussions. What? Yes. This is for any of you interested. ArtV is a website where you can download. There's a limited amount of artworks here, but I would say there's quite a lot. And any of you, if you want to use like for commercial purposes or your own personal purposes, you can use. This is like publicly archived images of different kinds of artworks from the past. And if you're making a presentation or a book or whatever the heck, this is a pretty good source. And just as an inspiration, this is like pretty well cataloged artworks here that you can find. So you can browse either by topics, which are super duper many, or you can explore cultures. So American, Italian, Austrian, whatever and whatnot. So there's a slew of those. And movements, this is my favorite. So which ones would you like to explore? Please write in the comments, and maybe we can go through them and dissect them a little bit, and I can take some screenshots and put them in the Photoshop and see, maybe I can like explain a little bit like details for any of you. I like personally Art Nouveau. It's very dynamic and super like art, detailed. Expressionism is pretty cool. Surrealist is one of my favorite ones as well. So we have symbolism here, impressionist realism, surrealism. However, I think it like fits within this category more or less. Yeah, I would say, because symbolically speaking, you have these kinds of interesting depictions of like dreamlike landscapes. Hold on, come on. Le Buddha. Surrealism is one of my favorite like topics. Cubism. Okay. Do we have it? I think it. Oh yeah, there we go. I mean, Cubism is like also there's one major prominent artist that y'all know, Picasso. But there's František Kupka, if I'm not mistaken, the Czech artist who I actually drew his artwork on a mural one time. Is a really good one. Kazimir Malevich is a really significant contributor to this movement as well. It's a pretty interesting like art movement that you can tell, which actually inspired also a lot of like Russian constructivists, like Melnikov is a pretty good example, that have translated these sorts of artworks that dissect geometric shapes into architecture. You can see which then later on Rem Koolhaas and Zaha Hadid more specifically like took inspiration from a lot in their early what site is it? SPC Dandy? ArtV. This is a website. Let me just really quickly hold on just to check. Yes, artv.com. That's it. That's basically it. But yes, that's the name of this website. Landscapes. Let's go to landscapes then. Topics. I think it's better. It would be better to explore in topics. Mountain. Sure. Mountain. Boom! There we go. Landscapes. And yes, we have realistic ones. We can go through surrealistic ones as well. I mean, the depiction of light in these sorts of classical artworks is pretty impressive. That's something that I want to try as well in the future, to paint. And like, look at this. This is so insane. How did you get into art? From birth, almost, actually. Santiago Molina, Reina. When I was a little baby, I was practically born into a art studio, essentially. My parents were artists. Back then, were more artists. Now they have different professions. But when I was like 5 months old, I drew a scribble of a drawing that resembled a smiley face. And since then, I've continued to sketch and doodle and do drawings by myself, necessarily, like primarily. And it stayed with me till this day. I had like a few, like there was one time during my early years when I was like 7 where I went to a separate like kind of a classes where they taught interesting like creative arts. And from since then I only like studied in 2. So in higher education environments I studied design and architecture, but I never really went to like an academy itself and studied like classical art, figure drawings and whatnot. I did a little bit of it in the architecture academy, but most of it, I always had like this sort of a natural inclination to it. What language is Jadokar? It's Georgian, by the way. Shivangi Purohit. Yeah, but from what I found out, Jadokar, it's also like in Persian, in Indian is a similar word. I believe maybe it's in Arabic as well, a similar word. Oop, we got a super chat by Potato. Thank you very much. I've always wondered why do old art, why does old art look so real and beautiful, but modern art feels like weird and lazy doodles? Listen, it's a difference in time. It's a difference in approach. Back then, people used to draw in a very realistic manner. If we do a real quick summary, art took a long way to get to where it is right now. From this, and from, first and foremost, if we browse, what would be appropriate to do? Religious. No, these are still like Renaissance period. During the Middle Ages, essentially, and prior to Middle Ages, you had like ancient artworks that depicted, the Egyptian reliefs and everything that had like flat like imagery. Perspective wasn't really like very well developed, and then those sort of like hieroglyphic and wall mural like depictions of the world kind of morphed into religious frescoes, and you got your mainly Christian and then in Islamic. Well, actually in Islam you only had ornaments because you can't depict naturalistic elements of nature and the world. But in Christianity you had iconography, and that dominated the world for a while, the European world especially, and right up to the Renaissance era, that's when the explosion of the consciousness like helped us step into a new dimension, and where we got perspective drawing. So we have, I think, Michelangelo, or actually, yeah, sure. So even like these 3-dimensional like voluminous depictions of human features, figures. I want to see, architectural drawings with depth and everything. Yet that sort of like developed all of a sudden, and people started to learn more how to depict reality. And from Renaissance, we had Baroque era, Rococo era, and that kind of stagnated a little bit, like that period of artistic depiction. And the world wanted to find new ways to depict reality, not photorealistically, so to say. So then we moved on to Impressionism. And if we look at the Impressionist artworks, or post-impressionism, people started to focus on color and on feelings and how the reality was interpreted through the lens of the artist in a more personal sort of way. Van Gogh is a pretty good example of that, you know. And art became more and more loose, more and more free, with all these thinkers sort of breaking down these stigmas. And at some point in the 20th century, you get your Jackson Pollock, crazy, weird, you know, breaking all the rules down and spraying paint all over the place. And now you have conceptual art, which is really super... how should I say it nicely? A lot of it is like... too difficult to read because it's so separated from the artist that you no longer kind of relate to the artist in a sense. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the artworks are constructed in such a manner that artists are trying to remove themselves as much as possible from oh, what happened to JADOKAR Live? Oh, hold on, is everything okay? Are we still in connection? Which software do you use for animating? Yeah, okay. Hey, hello. Yes, I'm live. Okay, good. Checking, just to check. Anyways, I went on a long historical rant here, but yes, essentially what I wanted to try and say, that art has moved into a different direction, and maybe there could be a renaissance of sorts in the future that might occur, where we will have a resurgence of naturalistic elements. But yes, it makes sense. I am very skeptical when it comes to abstract art. It has to be really good. Sure, there's, in a way, it's kind of like quote-unquote easy to make, in a way, but abstract art, in my opinion, only can be effective if you know all the rules of traditional art, because when you know those, you can break them more effectively. Otherwise, you're kind of shooting in the dark and kind of making art through trial and error, if that makes sense. What do you do when you feel burnt out and boredom in general? I try to rest. I try to sleep well. It's a tough one. You have to be really taking care of yourself, and it's easy to lose yourself in the process of drawing and work in general. Can you make a Discord server so we can show you our character and artwork? We have a Discord, by the way. If you... let me see. I'm pretty sure we have it linked on all of our channels, and we have a Discord server, indeed, that you can join. David, yes. And David is all good? Yeah. David, I want to ask, I'm pretty sure we have it linked in all of our channels that you can... for those of you who want, you can check it out. People send in submissions from there, which in the future, by the way, I'm going to make some videos. Again, redrawing some of your submissions. And we have some ideas also of doing art reviews of your art, offering constructive criticism. So make sure to look forward to that. Yes. I didn't find it in the channel. Let me see. I'm waiting for David to also respond, because I don't want to pop open too many windows here accidentally. Yes, I will link it to YouTube as well. Good. David is going to link it to the YouTube, and you will have access to it there as well. My goodness. Look at what have you done. What have I done? Tomato. At this, you mean? We have done this. We have committed tomato homicide here, almost. What's the most effective way to get better at art? This is gonna sound peachy, very tired and overplayed, but what can I say? Let me not offer the very basic advice of like practice. Here's the thing. Yes, practice as well, but how do you practice? You can try and learn drawing in a very like academic manner and sit in front of an easel and sort of repeat the proportions properly and everything, but that, you know, as a beginner it might be really difficult to take in all at once. So keep in mind that you should also be able to have fun with drawing. That's the way that I learned how to draw, essentially, because I didn't really have like a teacher. Oh, yes. Now we have our Discord linked with YouTube. By the way, we got another super chat. Tree man! Fun with Max and Bodhi. Thank you very much. My goodness. I've seen this comment typed in many a times, and you know what? I will acquiesce and draw a tree man. In fact, I drew a tree man version of JADOKAR way in the past. But hey, listen. We're nearing the final hours of the stream, so we can take it a little bit chill. I can go back to Photoshop and show you. Fish, what did you miss? We had a few sessions. We first did this, like a drawing session where all of you have typed in different kinds of suggestions, and I created like a piece that, and you know, connected all of these different suggestions all together. And later on, I'm gonna render this in high quality. Then later, I did a tutorial of sorts where y'all sent in through your chats different topics: perspective, figure drawing, tomato being eaten by Larry. That was a thing. That's what you perhaps might have missed. But yes, what creativity you yes. But yeah. And then we discussed also a little bit of art here. We might go back to it, but yeah, I want to draw Tree Man, which was a super chat. And let me do that real quick. So, hold on. Why is it not registering here? There you go. So, all I saw was a comment, just 2 words, Tree Man. How do I interpret that? Now we could have a man, a figure of a man rather, a archetypical figure. Hold on. Why? What is happening? Why is it not registering? Sometimes the Photoshop decides to glitch out on me. Am I operating in a different layer? I think so. Or no. Oh. I accidentally switched the brush color to white. So yes, we can have a man body, right? So there you go. A very manly man, but how do we combine this man with a tree? Well, there are several ways we can do that, ladies and gentlemen. We can turn a male figure's head into a tree with branches separating from the noggin and, you know, acquiring its tree crown. So that's a version of a tree man that I can imagine, right? That is a version, right? But what else? What else? A tree man could also be a, you know, a fully treeified, like rough, bark-legged, and fully woodened. I'm just making up terms at this point, but you get what I'm saying. Tree man of this sort. Like a more rigid version of a Lord of the Rings ant creature. You know? So this could be also a version of a tree man. Man tree. But what else? Dang, the texture of the bark is really good. Thank you. This was just done in a few seconds, but I mean, I could spend more and more time, go into detail and whatever and whatnot. But yeah, a quick depiction is enough to give you a suggestion, an impression. Another interpretation of a tree man could be a superhero of sorts. Just you know, with your customary spandex uniform, and just as a top part, you know, instead of a, you know, very like a muscular torso and everything, it could just turn into a tree, you know, and be an abominable superhero of this sort of build that I don't know how they managed to save the day, but, you know, maybe there are some superpowers that I'm not aware of. But a tree man of this type, with its, like, symbol, right? Superhero symbol. Is somehow managing to save lives and, you know, be of this sort of kind of anatomical build. Boom. Oh, are you going to stream every week? Love your art and channel. Thank you. Listen, that is sort of the plan. I do want to, genuinely, because yeah, I think it's fun. It gives me an opportunity to communicate with all of you. It gives me an opportunity to learn from you as well. What are you guys into? What do you want me to deliver to you in the form of educational content or entertainment content? Build the community as well in this sort of a manner, because up until this point, I was kind of like, you know, in my own sort of bubble, doing the work and sending it out to you through, you know, YouTube shorts and reels, and this is fun as well, and seeing all the comments typed in the comment sections. But this direct line of communication that we're having right now is super duper exciting, huh? You know, and I like that. It's really fun indeed. Where's the more? Why stop here? But let me. What a miracle! I usually miss events like this. Hey, listen. Be glad that you're here, and be thankful to the universe that the stars aligned, and now we are indeed located in this situation. Your live stream randomly shows on YouTube after clicking is really fun. You are really amazing. Thank you. Thank you. It's so much positivity, man. Why do I deserve it? It's incredible. You guys are incredible, all of y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Anyways, listen. Do you want me to show more versions of the tree man? What do you want me to continue down this line? I can go abysmal. I can go as crazy and wacky as you would like. Your voice is soothing. Thank you. Thank you. Super Bard 100. Sorry, what are you doing right now? I am Casey. Somebody wrote in a super chat, just 2 words, tree man. So I started off with a combination. We had a man and we had a tree, and this is a version of a tree man. This is also a version of a tree man, and then we have a superhero abomination of a tree man. Let me just give you another example of what I think a tree man could be. Now, you could have a regular human head with a very, you know, delightful smile. Super happy about his, you know, existence. And you know that the torso can be just a regular, you know, thinking that this is like a regular kid that I'm drawing. But alas, hold on. Instead of your normal everyday human limbs, we have trees growing out all over. And you see, this is another yet alternative version of a tree man. I'm telling you, there's no limit to my wackiness. And the suggestions that you send in fuel that wackiness, mind you. Keep in mind, that is what's happening. There. So, we have another. Which version is this? Is this a 5th version? Boom. That's a tree man as well! No? Why? Why not? There. Oh no, this is a 4th version. Groot evolution chart. Yes. Yes, why not, of course. That's how they were working on in their storyboards. These were the versions that didn't make it. I'm giving you the behind the scenes, so tune in. This is proper Kino content over here. Broccoli man, yeah. Why are you so funny? I mean, I'm in now on the streets and people are watching me. Listen, what can I do? I cannot help myself. Thank you. Make a Pomeranian. Wow, that's how it's spelled. Pomeranian dog. A Pomeranian dog plus pair for tree man. So that he has man's best friend. We don't want him to be sad. Maddie Shady draws. My brain is trying to brain right now, and this is a very complex combination of words. I might just continue with the tree man other version. Maybe somewhere I will stick a dog somewhere over there. This is what I'm trying to. I'll try to interpret it in that sort of a manner. But yeah, let me see. Bro, you sound like Pedro Pascal. I actually don't know. I haven't watched a lot of movies played by him. Hold on, let me just rehydrate. Oh yeah, nice water. Very good. Thank you. That's a hydro flask. David gave it to me as a gift. Oh my gosh! Look at the fella. Kind of looks like a tree man, in fact. Oh my gosh! What coincidence. Let me continue with this line of weird wackery. Because you know that's what the stream is. So this is how people see us when they get into this live. Crazy people and a man being crazy. Yes, indeed. Just casual, everyday, crazy and craziness. Where was I? Oh yes, tree man. What other interpretation of a tree man I would do in this case? Oh yeah. Well, never mind. No, I just had a very cursed image in my head pop up, and no, I think I'm gonna dispense with that for now. Let me think of something else. Do it. I don't know. Okay, I'll try and make it as friendly looking as possible, but also while, you know, capturing the initial image. So what I was thinking was you have your, you know, you have your hand in a kind of a strange and sort of like a twisted position. You wonder why could that be? You know, you have the body sort of contorting a little bit, and you know, you're wondering to yourself, what is going on here? Same thing happening over on this side, right? The hand is sort of twisted and writhing a little bit, like what is going on? What's the deal here? Down in the pelvic area, you have how should I draw this? Oh sure, I'll draw it like that. I'll draw it like this. This will be as close as possible to the image that I saw in my head. You have your legs and whatnot, right? A weird dancing looking man. Kind of crazy, kind of wacky, right? But what you don't know, you see, ladies and gentlemen, that it is in fact a weird and twisted and writhing tree man creature that grows both upwards and downwards into a tree-like structure, never being able to actually sort of ground itself by the roots or by its feet and walk the earth in peace. And so this sort of tree man version is in perpetual pain and horror and agony, and my goodness. Sometimes my vision takes me into these places, but yes. So, boom, we have a version of a tree man of such characteristic. Real quick. There you go. That is another version of a tree man. Maybe even it has like a, what do you call the thingy in the tree where you have the hole inside, where they're like, you know, the birds might be nesting and whatnot. Of strange characters. There you go. Nice. A burrow. Yes, a burrow. That's the word. My English sometimes limited. I need to remind my word English. Just joined. What are you doing? Plague. Let me show you. Somebody super chatted a combination of two words. Tree man. So I jotted down the initial sketch, and then I went down the line of, you know, this to myself. What is a tree man? It could be this. This could be a tree man as well. A rigid tree-like form. This could be a abomination of a superhero with tree-like powers. This could be a tree man as well. And then further down the line, I ended up with this sort of a monstrosity, nightmare fuel tree creature that never really grows a face or legs and is continuously sort of pushed along the landscape as a tumbleweed of sorts. But yeah. Yes. Anyways. Are we done with the tree man? What else would you like me to discuss? Should we go back to art discussion? We also had a session where I discussed art. It was a little bit more peaceful. Or do you want me to go fully cursed and just draw yourself? These ideas: a dragon tree, Groot with infinity stones. But I don't know what a skong is. Sprout chap, his sidekick, a tree man smoking pipe. Don't stop here. I will not. Do you upload your sketches? No. Well, I mean, on Instagram we do. We have posts. On YouTube we have shorts and videos. Draw a man stuck in a tree who gives wisdom. Cactus girls. Ah, hell. Hold on there. One Darwin. I like the way you're thinking. Now we have a tree man, but we don't have cactus girls, and that's kind of, you know, we're lacking here. You caught me lacking, sir. Darwin. So let me see here. Should I immediately go with a cactus? Like, well, generally speaking, your cactus is whatever, you know, a cactus. But in this case, a cactus girl would somehow maybe perhaps, you know, position herself in a cactus-like manner with cactus-like ligaments. Wait, I need to move her down a little bit because, boom, like so, just to have a little bit more space. up here. Interesting concept. I imagine this to be some sort of like a boss battle creature of sorts that you come across. A potted cactus woman girl creature that you would have to encounter in one of your adventures. What it would be like to battle something like this now. Hello, Cactus Girl Band. Interesting. There. Let me see. Souls-like enemy design. Yeah, that entire genre separately in and of itself is such a source of inspiration for character design. How many of you have read Berserk, by the way, by any chance? I know that there's a lot of characters taken inspirationally from Berserk, like the wheel people, and the guts armor is actually like heavily that inspired heavily one of the main characters or main like NPCs, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. But yeah, it's a pretty fascinating thing. Berserk is peak. Yes, nice. We have some Berserk appreciators here. Do a self-portrait real quick. See, I have a very nose, kind of like a this sort of a nose. My jawline isn't this sharp actually. Something ears, something. Right now I have short hair, so it's a little bit like whatever. I used to have longer hair, like in the previous videos you would see. No, that's not my cheekbone. But you know, rough, quick sketch would be akin to this self-portrait. With a very, very, very long neck for whatever reason, because, you know, I'm feeling like it. There you go. This is my internal self right now. This is how I'm feeling inside. Yes. Great, bro. Thank you. Giraffe self-portrait. Sometimes your inner state of mind is yearning for higher levels of consciousness, and your neck stretches inwardly, so to say. That how it be. That how it sometimes be. What are Emperor's Children? Are those Berserk airy reference or something that I'm not aware of? Maybe. I'll look into it later on. Okay. I'm seeing a comment about Do Gamer Monsef Mimune. Draw a basketball with two really little eyes. Basketball with little eyes like these dots, and give them two human realistic legs and one shoe as a hat. All right. Listen, you have commented this comment so many times at this point. I admire your dedication. Hello, Slade. Welcome. We're drawing cursed images right now. Doing all sorts of wacky. This is the part of the stream where I'm slowly kind of, you know, teetering into the end of the stream a little bit and finishing off all the entertaining stuff. Just as a quick recap, we did a whole bunch of things. We did a tutorial section of all sorts of topics, turning cubes, of drawing hands, learning human figure drawing and whatnot here and there. Quick things suggested by you, the viewers. And then before that, we did a major piece with all of your suggestions connected together with a muscular shrimp fighting a chimp underwater with a long-headed, small-faced referee with, this is technically Lionel Messi as a mermaid. I'll clean this sketch up later on. And so there's many different kinds of suggestions. Chicken jockey Jadokar, because. But yeah, right now we're at the section of cursed artwork, and I want to draw that basketball suggested by one of our viewers. I missed a lot. Hey, listen, Lichin, tune in next time when we will announce it. This is probably going to be the structure of the streams that I'm going to do for now. We'll see. Maybe in the future I will game. Maybe I will sculpt. We'll see. But for now, this model is fun. It's entertaining. We'll make sure to join us next time. And be sure to type in whatever suggestions you can. I hope I will capture it real quick and interpret it and draw it live. And then do a collective picture of all of your suggestions as a one single piece. Now, this basketball needs to have very, very hyper-realistic eyelids. Because, you know, I'm in the mood. I'm feeling myself. There. This was a suggestion by one of our viewers. Hopefully they're watching right now and admiring their prompt coming to fruition. Yes. Yes. There we go. A small mouth, like so. Right? So we have a basketball. And they said they should have human hands. Give him hips. I don't know about hips, but I will give him human ligaments. Like these. He's what is this? What am I doing right now? This is a pretty good indication of the fact that let me just adjust a second. Oh, yes. And by the way, for those of you watching right now, we've announced it numerous times, and I'll be sure to remind you that we have our print drop still alive. There are a few hours left. It's linked in our channel and on all of our channels on Instagram and on TikTok. And if you want to get yourself a beautiful, fantastic, high-quality, super definition print of one of my original drawings, you can do that and go and check out our print drop, Mindsets. I've worked on them for a better part of the last month. And if you want to adorn the rooms and the walls of your rooms, of your bedrooms, of your living rooms with some unique artworks, please feel free to check them out. And there. Okay. I'm almost done with this. With this wacky suggestion. There you go. A nightmare scene. Imagine this basketball chasing you down the alleyway and trying to demand of you for you to dribble it. How would you feel in that scenario? What would you do? How would you act? Would you acquiesce? Would you perform the act? Or would you try and run away and scream? Look at this. Look at this. Look at the demureness of this face. Look at it. Hold on. Now it is staring at you. It's staring at us. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh! It noticed us. Oh my days. Are you there? I must chase you. Let me adjust a few things here. There you go. He's just judging us for our sense of stopping. Listen, it's not a sin to stop, but it is ill-advised. Beware of that. Stopping from time to time it's a, you know, we're all human beings, except when it's time to not stop, you must not. Try and wrap your head around that. Can you do your goofy voice? We cannot stop here. Sure. Why stop it here? Do you guys like that? There you go. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, my days. It has been fun. It has been entertaining. Y'all have a wonderful sense of humor. This entire stream, I think this went superbly well. Need I say more? W's all over the chat, please. In fact, I am fueled by y'all's energy and by y'all's engagement in the amount of frequency of commentaries with which you are commenting, and I want to do more of these, definitely. Oh, I got so many W's. Oh, big blasted all over the place. Stop. Crazy. Thank you, Vanessa. You too have a wonderful life. Reginald. My God, the W's are just keep flooding in. It's crazy. What is this? Do this kind of live every week. Well, listen. I am inspired and fueled by yours fellows' reaction to this, and I definitely will. This has been wonderful. I like this format. Out of this, there could be also videos made out of it, but just the process of engaging with y'all, it's so much fun. Let me hold on just a second. Wait, hold on. Had to recline for that ingestion of the final droplets of the water. I had to hydrate really well. Thank you, Vanessa. Listen, singing, by the way, World Tree. That's something that I want to do as well. But I'm not sure about the copyright system. One of my favorite content creators, by the way, for any of you watching, is Iron Mouse. Freaking adorable human being, VTuber creature of the Underdark, and she sings oftentimes covers, and I'm not sure with the copyright system how it is. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of the copyrights, when you play like a song in the background, your stream might get flagged or whatever, and copyright stricken, and I need to figure out a way, like if I'll find like instrumentals later in the future. I'm not streaming on Twitch, Lee. I might consider multi-streaming. Stop ignoring me. You killed my grandma. Tomato. I'm so sorry, Tomato. Listen, this was the Tomato. This comment is talking about this gruesome incident, by the way, for those of you watching. Not this, or was it this? Yes, here, this incident. You spammed it, many of you. Larry eating a tomato, and I had to acquiesce. But anyways, yeah. კი დიახ ჩონგური აგერ არის პერიოდულად ვიღებ ხოლმე და იმაში ვირა უთათუნებ ხელებს. It was a quick Georgian response to a Georgian commentator. Svianadze keto. But yes, W. Thank you, Dodo. Why the name JADOKAR? Please say. I'm curious. It was me and David. First name that we came up to with our channel was really bad. it was so generic and so basic, and it was just like a placeholder for the moment. And like after a week or so, we started to like gain a decent traction and everything, and we had to like really scramble for a title. And so we sat down and brainstormed, and we thought about it. And JADOKAR is a word in Georgian and in many other languages apparently that means the same thing. It's a magician. And JADOKAR sounded cool as a concept. And David immediately came up with a mascot idea. The logo, the profile picture of our channel everywhere on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube, that actually is the original drawing drawn by David. So courtesy to him, because he came up with this adorable being of a creature. But yes, in Hindi also, yeah, in Persian it means magician as well. In other languages, I believe. David is my brother, for those of you who don't know. He appears in plenty of our videos as well, if you go to our YouTube channel. He is primarily educated in filmography, but he is creatively interested in many other things as well. We drew together each other in Photoshop, and we manipulated each other and distorted each other in a wacky way. He also plays music, and we did a song together as well recently, not too long ago, in one of our latest videos, where we did a song in one day, in 12 hours. But yeah, and most importantly, I want to say this, and David is watching as well. God only knows how long it would have taken me to actually get my together and begin this endeavor. If it wasn't for David and his continuous like help and by many ways, by motivating me, by brainstorming together with me on ideas, by managing our social media accounts and reminding me of my worth as an artist. Like, if it wasn't for him, I don't know, this might not have happened, what we're doing right now, sitting here. Are you from Rome? No, sir. I do have a Roman nose. Maybe somebody in my ancestry is. Gasper. But yes. In fact, please, spam W's for David, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would so kindly. Spam W's for David, because, yes, we do love David. David appreciation moment, please. Right now. Just right now, a little bit. Thank you. Yes, sprinkling those W's all over the place. Ah. Good. Nice. Thank you. That is good. That is very good. But yeah, I think it's time for me to slowly and gently wrap up a little bit. I love this stream so much. I love you. I love all of you. It was really nice. It was really fun. And I hope that David through our channel wrote yes. David just wrote through our channel thanks with all the smiley faces. So it was a treat, a wondrous adventure to have all of you here. I hope y'all have a wonderful time of morning, day, evening, or whatever it is in wherever you are. You are from all over the world, so have a wonderful one. And I will gonna see you in the next one. Bye. Bye. Wait, hold on. I want to do a little bit of an outro thingy. Yes. Bye. Oh my gosh.